Solange Mougin is with me on the set to take a look at what the papers have been saying today. Hi, Solange.
Hi, Jeannie.
Lots of focus first on what European papers are saying about the coronavirus.
Yeah, there is this second wave that is haunting Europe. That's how Die Press discusses the restrictions that are being rolled out in a number of European capitals. The Austrian paper worries that the economic contractions are going to have a, quote, lasting echo on the continent. And that includes Paris as well, with the financial paper, the French financial paper Les Echos calls the new rules of the game. Bars closing in the hottest of zones, limiting the number of people in malls, gyms being closed for a fortnight, restaurants being allowed to stay open but with strict sanitary precautions put in place. Now, these preventative measures, they say, are going to take their toll economically on France.
The European press not just saying this is going to be an economic crisis, but that the actual second wave of the coronavirus is truly here.
Yeah, and that we're definitely in the midst of it, be it in France, where L'Humanité tells us that hospital personnel are ringing the alarm bells, saying that beds are filling up and the cases keep on coming, or be it in the UK, where contract tracers are actually trying to catch up with a backlog of, get this, nearly 50,000 contact cases, according to Metro. Now, this was actually created from a glitch in an old version of Excel. They were using an old version of the software, and this spreadsheet error is creating quite a lot of anger towards Boris Johnson's handling of the coronavirus.
There's a lot of COVID-19 controversy as well in the United States, in particular with Donald Trump's, the U.S. president's return to the White House while he's still infected with the disease.
Yeah, this image of Donald Trump standing on the balcony of the White House without his mask, saying that the coronavirus isn't to be feared. Well, it's making front pages across the globe, as we can see in the British paper The Times. And for the Washington Post as well, Trump's boasting is just a continuation, they say, of a sham. Its editorial board today says that, quote, deception and denial is an insult to a nation that's already reeling from the coronavirus, end quote. Now, for Esquire, the site, Trump's working here on his image of, quote unquote, authoritarian chic. The site says that this posturing of physical strength will surely please Trump's fans, but there are deeper consequences, and that is of an American empire or American democracy that is in decline. Now, it's a sign of a Donald Trump who's ready, according to The Guardian, to go to most any lengths not to lose in November. The paper says that his carelessness in the past few days with others' safety, be it his Secret Service agents in his non-necessary drive-by, be it his staff at the White House now, be it his super spreader event over the Supreme Court nomination. This shows, according to The Guardian, that he's, quote, ready to sacrifice anyone to win.
That Supreme Court nomination is also a hot topic in the press today.
Yeah, the Washington Post has an opinion piece that says that Republicans are playing with fire in trying to move fast with the confirmation of Amy Coney Barrett. That there's political backlash, may be created by it in the election, but also that there are health risks here to the actual senators that are on the committee that are doing the hearings, and that if more senators get sick, there may not be enough votes to move the nomination out of committee. Nevertheless, according to the GOP, it is full steam ahead, and that's according to the Chicago Tribune. Now, the court is back in session, and Justice Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito have criticized this week the 2015 ruling that allows same-sex marriage, saying, quote, and get this, quote, has ruinous consequences for religious liberty, end quote. Now, the brief has raised even more fear that if Barrett is confirmed and put on the court, that it will spell the end not just of abortion rights, but other rights as well, such as gay marriage and a slew of other hard-earned civil liberties.
Now, that push to move fast to reverse years of civil liberties, as you're saying, Solange, is certainly not going to happen without a fight.
Yeah, and as The Guardian tells us, rights activists and members of the LGBTQ community are taking a stand against Donald Trump and against the far right. After Trump's nod to the white supremacist group, the Proud Boys, well, Twitter users over the past week have essentially overtaken the hashtag Proud Boys to wipe out the group's white chauvinist views. They've posted images of gay men embracing. They say it helps change the narrative to make sure love love, not hate, is trending.
All right, next now some science news. Something about the father of evolution.
Yeah, or rather fathers, I should say. The site Vice says that 1,000 years ago, before 1,000 years before Charles Darwin began studying in the Galapagos, well, there were other scholars in the 9th and 10th centuries looking at this idea of natural selection, namely Islamic scholars, and especially one named Al-Jahiz, who studied how plants and animals adapt to their environments. So the question now, Vice says, is to make sure that credit is spread across all learned men, women, and of all backgrounds at all ages.
Just to wrap up now, Solange, an article linked to environment and evolution as well about an animal that struggled to adapt to its own environment.
Yeah, the Tasmanian devil is back. And I'm not talking about the Looney Tunes character Taz here, but the actual real marsupials. As National Geographic tells us, scientists have managed to release 30 of them into a sanctuary in Australia. And if they survive there and don't catch a disease that has actually decimated the population of Tasmanian devils, they get this sort of cancerous growth on their faces that kills them. And this has happened on the island of Tasmania. Well, this rewilding project on mainland Australia, if they survive there on mainland Australia, it would mean that, and released into the wild, it would mean that Tasmanian devils will be back on mainland Australia for the first time in, get this, 3,000 years.
Incredible, Solange. Thanks so much for that. Solange Mougin with your press review today. Focus is up next, and Live from Paris continues at the top of the hour. Stay with us.